So welcome to Begas Vaby Q&A. Yay! I feel like we should have some kind of like theme music. Maybe I'll put some in when I edit it. So last time we went to Vegas, November 2021, we said we were going to do a Q&A, and we must have had about 100 questions because we were obviously one of the first to go back since the border opened. We were like the week after it opened. So I think so many people had so many questions about, has it changed? What do we do here? What do we do with that? So we kind of got inundated. Our intention was to do a nice big Q&A, and we both got COVID, literally kind of a couple of weeks. Well, I was ill for a bit, and then we got COVID after that. So we never got around to doing it. Too much time had passed. So this time we said, yeah, we'll do a Q&A, and we thought we'd actually do it this time.
Revolutionary, I know.
Yeah, we thought we'd follow through on something we said we'd do for once. So we have had quite a lot of questions, which is quite nice because it's less about what tests do we need and what happens in the airport and blah, 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 and more about actual Vegas. Just going to kickstart by saying Michael is drinking Angry Orchard from his huge Tom's Urban 40-ounce cup. He thought he'd get on in the Vegas mindset, I would say.
Haven't had anything to eat yet.
I know, that's his breakfast.
Angry Orchard breakfast.
Whereas I've got up, done a dog walk, and unfortunately I am on car pickup duty later on for the kids. So I can't drink, it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair.
But you're happy that I can though, aren't you? You're
very,
very happy that I can.
Can't you tell? Look at the smile. Anyway, so we haven't gone through these questions. Michael hasn't seen them at all, actually. I've just been pulling them off when they've come in, and there's no particular order on them. So we'll just go through them and it'll bring up other things. The other reason we want to do the Q&A is that we usually do roundups at the end of each day when we're away, when we're doing the vlogs. But we explained in the last one, we just didn't have time this time and the setup wasn't correct and whatever. So there's actually a lot that we're getting questions on the vlogs that we probably would have covered in the roundups that we haven't. So that's kind of another reason for doing it. So I'm going to start with some Facebook questions. So I'll go, there's a lady called Jane Hagan who's been really, really supportive. So thank you to her. She sent over 1 million questions. She did apologise, but that's fine. We would rather more questions than not. So just go straight in. How much do you tip for the drinks?
I don't tip anything. I just wait for you to.
You do. So we always do a $5 tip to start off with. It's what we always do, just because there's two of us. We always order 2 drinks. We feel like it's fair enough to say. I mean, unless they're waters, we wouldn't give $5 for just grabbing a couple of waters. We'd just give a couple of dollars. But yeah, we always do $5, and then after that, it's anything between what I've basically got. So it's anything between $3, $4, or $5 per round of drinks we tip. Which, I don't know, some say, oh, you just give $1, and we always find that if we give a nice tip, they come back a lot more often. We always feel like because we're asking for 2 drinks, it's not fair really to just give a couple of dollars, especially if there's cocktails and they've gone and made them. It's different if they're just a beer and they've just literally took the top off and handed you them, or if they're just a water, it's different. But when they've gone off and they've made the cocktails up, we just feel like that's what we give. So I always take a couple of 5s, loads and loads of 1s each day, and we just kind of tip depending on what the service is like, but it's usually between 3 and 5 per round. Can you order anything? We've been before but didn't really have any drinks as we weren't sure.
You can ask for anything.
Yeah.
Whether you can receive it is up to the casino itself, really.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean, Jane, because when we first went to Vegas, we were really intimidated, and it was very
by
much
everything.
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah,
everything.
We literally, I think the first time we went to Vegas, we were total tourists. We did all of the normal touristy things. We did the whole, the New York roller coaster, the gondolas, the Strat, the fountains.
We were so tourist that we thought Cosmo was a shopping centre. That's how tourist we were.
We stayed at the Aria and we walked through the Cosmo every day, and all we walked through was the chandelier bar and on the second floor. So we were walking to the shop and then we were going down the escalators and going straight out the door. We thought Cosmo was like a big mall, or we actually did not know that it was a casino, and we did not know it was a hotel, which is really just, we hadn't put two and two together. We used it as a walkway from the Aria onto the Strip.
It's mental thinking about it now.
I know,
it's absolutely mental.
We laugh about it now because how on earth, I mean, I love the Cosmo now, but we just hadn't kind of put it, we thought there were apartments or something like that. We just hadn't known.
There was too much other stuff to look at.
I know, yeah. We did complete touristy things, and the casinos to us were something that were big and shiny and bright and scary as hell. And we were like, what do we even do? Do we use coins? Do we use money? what are players' cards? So we were completely intimidated. And all we kind of knew was a few people had said, oh, when you're gambling, you can get like a beer while you're gambling. So I think the first time we even stuck some money in, we both just asked for a bud because we were like, that's safe. Everybody will have a bud and that'll be it. And it's only really going back again with confidence. And to be honest, just chatting to the waitresses. If you get a nice cocktail waitress, you can chat to them and they can kind of tell you what you do. So my go-tos now are, I'll always ask if they do Angry Orchard because that's my favourite cider and I love it.
The Bellagio is about the only place that does now.
Yeah, it used to be New York, but it's only, I think we can only get it in Bellagio now. There might be somewhere else, I'm sure other people can say, oh, you can get it here. But Bellagio is the only place we know we can say, can we have an Angry Orchard? And they've got it. The other places, they will always do basically a spirit in a mixer. So anywhere you go, you can ask for, gin and tonic or
vodka Red Bull.
Yeah, vodka Coke.
Malibu Pineapple's a good one.
Yeah, anything where it's just like a straight spirit in a mixer, you can get anywhere. And then cocktails vary. So we always just say to the waitress, what cocktails can you do? What cocktails do you know? The generals are, your margaritas, your pina coladas, that kind of thing. Your lemon drop martinis or chocolate martinis, things like that. But I think if you wanted to play it safe, always go for like a say gin and tonic, a Malibu and Coke, something like that, vodka and Coke. And then till you build up a little bit of a confidence with it, and then just say to them, oh, what cocktails do you do? Or can I have this or that? All they'll say is no. And then they'll just wait for what else you want, or they'll give you alternatives.
Sometimes they'll just make you something blue and strong.
Yeah, if you don't quite know what you want and you just say, surprise me, sometimes they'll bring something. Sometimes we've said, surprise me, and they've said, oh, do you want it fruity or do you want it? And we've said, oh, no, sweet or fruity. And they've said, okay. And they come back. So it is just a case of building your confidence and asking for anything.
As long as they get a tip, they don't really care what you drink.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the rule, I think.
Yeah. And as long as they've got it, they can make it. But if not, they'll give you an alternative. But yeah, just don't be kind of scared by it, and don't think, oh, they're gonna say no and walk off, because they don't. If they've stopped, they want the money off you. So yeah. Okay, next question. Your budget. Do you use what you allocate and then just keep your Tito's? So we have quite a tight budget. Which is, I think people will find that surprising because we do a lot of slot play, but we have an extremely tight budget. When we watch other people on their vlogs, what they have per person, we generally have between us per day.
We have kids. That's what it comes down to. So our budget on everything, not just Vegas, is a lot tighter than those who don't have kids.
Yeah. So, if we're talking in general, when we stayed at Cosmo and we've had the Wicked Spoon, all-you-can-eat buffet every day, our daily budget's been a lot less because we knew we didn't have to include food, really. We just got one more snack through the day. So we had a budget of about $350 per day, and that's between us for gambling. This time, because we didn't have that guaranteed, we basically put about $420 to $430 aside every single day, and that's food and drink.
And gambling.
And gambling, that's everything. We very rarely pay for drinks, to be fair, because we generally just drink while we gamble. It's only if we go to, say, Binion's and want some Angry Orchard or something, we'll pay. We do occasionally put some meals on the credit card, but it's all planned beforehand, so we'll just maybe stick, there'll be another couple of £100 or something like that on a day. If we've had a bad gambling day and we're short of the actual cash and we know we've got a night ahead of us, we'll say, right, we'll stick this on the credit card, but it's not where we come back where we've got like this massive credit card bill and we can't pay it. We'll just kind of supplement it a little bit with some meals.
Yeah.
on the credit card, but generally the last one, what I also say is, well, we have a little code, don't we? But we have a daily
You've
budget.
Got to tell them the code.
We have a daily budget. So my little envelopes that I keep getting locked out of have like day 1 to 10 on, or however many days you're going for. Then we have a float, which we call try not to touchies. And so that's only touch it if you have to kind of thing. And this time, if we had say $4.20 to $4.30 per day based on how many tips I put in, we had try not to touchies of around 600 to 700 for the whole holiday. So it meant that we had a little extra float to dip into as and when, if we had a bad gambling day or we were doing something extra that day. Then as the holiday goes on, and if we're making money, if we get more, we set up a new little envelope called do not touchies. So we end up with it didn't start like this just happened, it was while we were referring to it came out. So we have our daily budget, then we have our try not to touchies budget, and then we have our definite do not touchies budget that's coming home with us.
Yeah.
But that last one only gets created as if we're winning.
Yeah. Well, it's not even if we win. If we break even on a day, that'll go into the don't touchies.
Well, yeah, if we break even on a day, we'll probably put half in the do not touchies and half in the try not to touchies.
Well, it depends if we've touched the try not to touchies.
It does.
Because we'd like to replace the try not to touchies.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying it this much, I'm realising how ridiculous it is, by the way.
So yeah, budget, try not to touchies, do not touchies is what we call them, and they're in the safe, and that's it. And you know, in the last holiday, we went into the try not to touchies 3 times. 3 times through the holiday, that was all we went, and we just kind of, we'd had a rubbish gambling morning or an afternoon, or we knew we wanted a big night on the night and we were going far away from the Mirage or far away from the Plaza, and we said, you know what, we don't want to come back if we need to, we'll take it with us. And there was one night, it was actually your birthday night, where you know, we'd only took so much to us downtown, and the try not to touchies was looking in a very bad state because we just couldn't hit a thing. But then the next day we had the massive Buffalo wins, and we replaced our daily budget and all of the try not to touchies, and it all worked out well.
It's a very fluid situation.
Yeah, sorry to overcomplicate it. Basically, we have a daily budget of about 400, anything between 350, 450, depending on
between us.
Yeah, that's between us. That's not each. And basically then we have this extra float that we dip into as and when we need to. That's probably the easiest way of saying it, but anyway, we went the long way around. And then it says, do you use what you allocate and then just keep your Tito's? No, we don't keep the Tito's at all.
We're not an advocate of a Tito hoarding.
No, because how do you know what's going to happen tomorrow, or how do you know if the machine's broke, or when there's going to be a big queue, or
what are you going to forget about, you know?
Yeah. So no, you might have seen me say this time, and I've never done it before, where I've said, oh, we've had a big win, say we've won $400. I took out the Tito and put another 100 in. That's me taking out the Tito, saying to Michael, go to the machine. And then he goes to the machine, gets the 400 not out, and then I
get mugged when I get back, by the way.
Yeah. And then I take the 100 out of that and put the 300 away in the budget, and then we stick another 100 back in. But that's just me. It was actually trying stuff, because a lot of people had said, oh, if you start with a new 100, it's kind of like it restarts the system, and I don't know what I believe and what I don't believe. All I knew is I wanted to take that money out and knew that I had it, because I didn't like it being in the machine to play down too much, because sometimes you can get a bit carried away.
It's true, you know, because I think money is completely different when it's in your hands as opposed to a number on a screen. It's almost like you're not. It's very easy to lose track of, well, this isn't real money here, this is just a number, I can do what I want. So I think that works best for us to actually have the money in our hands, because it reels us in a little bit. It reels us in.
And I like to know that, right, that's put on side now, and then we've got this to play with, and then if we lose this, it doesn't matter, because we're just playing with the profit, and it just keeps it cleaner.
She also enjoys taking things from me. So, you know, it adds a little highlight to her that, you know, I keep on coming back with money and she basically takes it away from me, which is, you know, top of her list of hobbies. It's above Vegas, actually, on her list of passions.
Anyway, my Vegas rewards are the easy to claim. I have started them. Yes, as long as there isn't a big queue at the M Life desk or MGM Rewards desk. So we're probably going to do a separate video on this because we get asked so many questions about it. But basically, most people who go to Vegas often know about this. A lot of people who don't, who it's their first time or they're quite novices, don't. There's two main apps. There are others, but there's two main apps that people go on for free and spin and basically play slots at home. So one is the My Vegas app and the other one is the My Konami app. I call it Konami, other people call it Konami. And basically you just go on, play the slots and you build up the coins. Once you build up enough coins, you can go into the little rewards section, and there's loads of things on there which are like 2-for-1s or get a such and such discount, or
Tom's Urbans,
free entry into places, and there's things for shows, meals, drinks, activities, trips. Oh.
Please continue.
You all right?
I'm fine, thank
See,
you.
It's me making you choke on your Angry Orchard.
It is.
So yeah, there's loads of rewards, so you have to build them up, and then you basically put them in your wallet, and then there's stipulations in terms of some of them are premium rewards, and you're only allowed so many premium rewards in a 30-day period or a 60-day period. You have to read all the T's and C's, to be honest. But it sounds like it's long-winded, but it's not. As soon as you start using it, it gets a bit more familiar. We both do it so that we both get some of the rewards. Michael spins a lot more than me, so his points are a lot bigger. And then he insists on not booking the rewards because he doesn't like his points going down. I'm like, well, what's the bloody point of doing it in the first place if we don't get the rewards to use in Vegas? But anyway, so yeah, basically once you've got them in your wallet, you go along to, so say you've got I'll use the Tom's Urban, the 2-for-1 of Tom's Urban. You go to New York, you go to their MGM desk, you hand over your ID, which generally we hand over a passport, your M Life card or MGM Rewards card, sorry, I will use the new name, and the redemption code that's on your phone for that reward, and they basically just stick it on your card. Some of them have a rule where they have to be used within 72 hours or within 24 hours of you redeeming it, so do it on the day or the day before you're going to use it rather than at the start of the holiday.
But then when you go to actually get it, you've got to hand them your card.
Yeah.
And they'll swipe it, and then that'll obviously adjust your bill.
Yeah. So then when we went to get our drinks from Tom's Urban, I just said, oh, we've got the 2-for-1 on the 40 ounces, handed my card over, he swiped it, and then we just got charged for the one. So they are easy. It's just that sometimes in the casinos, depending on what time of day it is, if it's a weekend or not, the MGM Rewards desks can have a little queue. So just be prepared for that. And if you've got like more than one thing to redeem at each one, you're probably better off trying to do them in, 2 or 3 at a time. But yeah, they are easy to do. Would you advise cards each in the casinos for rewards? Absolutely. We didn't do it the first couple of times.
Yeah.
Because again, we were, the first time you go to Vegas, you go, well, will I go back? Maybe is it a one-off? I don't know. And we were a bit intimidated by the gambling. It wasn't until our kind of third time that we went that we said, let's get these cards and see what they're about. Absolutely recommend it now because we've started getting all the comp offers in, so it's definitely pays off. Again, we might do a separate video on this just because it is so complicated and we could talk for quite a while on it. But basically, on the strip, there's kind of two main ones, which is the Caesars properties and the MGM properties. And you only need one Caesars card for all of the Caesars properties and one MGM card for all of the MGM properties. And you can usually register online and everything before you go, so that when you get there, all you need to do is go with your ID to the MGM and pick up your card. And you use it for everything. Use it for every single thing you spend. So when you're on the slots, make sure you put your card in, make sure it registers before you're putting your money in. When you go to any restaurants in any of the...
Even resort fees, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go to any of the restaurants, bars, just hand it over. It'll just all get stacked up. When you pay your resorts fees, have the card linked to your booking. Everything all adds up, and then within 3 to 4 weeks after you get back, basically, you'll start getting some offers through. And they might only be small to start off with, but once you build them up, there's kind of different tiers of the cards, and that depends on what rewards you get. So it's very complicated, but in short, yes.
Absolutely.
And downtown is the same. They all have the cards.
It reaches a point, actually, where you start resenting spending money in Vegas, which isn't on a card, which isn't linked to your card. Just because it feels like it's almost not, I wouldn't say wasted, but not optimized.
You're not making the most of it, I suppose. Yeah. And it's a bit of a slippery slope, because it can make you feel like, oh well, I just want to, I just want to gamble, or I just want to go to these properties. And we always try not to do that. We always make sure that we do a range, because we don't want to limit ourselves. But yeah, it does get more, if you're choosing, maybe will I go, onto a non-casino, or will I go, no, I'll go there, because then I know I'll get extra points. But it shouldn't ever stop you from doing other things. It's just an extra bonus of whatever you're doing. Okay. Lastly, have you decided when you're going back?
There's been discussions.
And hours scouring the internet.
Yeah, Lindsay doesn't have much holidays left. So, because we've got Disney with the kids in October. So Lindsay's literally got enough holidays left for one more trip somewhere this year. And that's if she doesn't work at Christmas and, does anything. I've got plenty. Something I suppose I could have one on my own, but she won't let me. But yeah, so I think at the moment we're looking at kind of probably the last week of September, which
I really wanted to go at the end of May, because New Kids on the Block are doing a concert with Rick Astley and a few other of the 80s, 90s people at Mandalay. And I really, really wanted to go. And it's only a couple of days before my birthday, but it's just not working out. We've got one daughter doing GCSEs, another daughter in shows. And if we do that, then we'd have to do a much shorter trip and wouldn't then get a bigger trip later on in the year. I also had to borrow holidays from this year's allocation in order to get away in March. So I'm on a catch-up completely with the holidays.
I've offered to use my holidays and go and FaceTime her from this New Kids on the kind of block. But, she's opposed to that. She doesn't want to do that.
You know what?
I have offered.
I don't even think you would want to do that.
I think that something would happen that night, whether I fail to kind of get there.
Yeah.
Or,
But yeah, we are going to we've said we're definitely doing one more Vegas trip this year. 100%. It's just, we're looking at, like everybody said from the UK, the flight prices are just ridiculous at the minute. And we're trying loads of different dates and loads of different kind of 5 night, 6 night, 7 night, 8 night, different working around to see what we can get to make it, just to maximise it really.
There's a kind of a decent chance, I think, that we'll go with a different airline other than Virgin or British Airways, just because the prices are ridiculous. They're ridiculous at the moment.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, but we just don't know when yet. Nothing's booked specifically. Right, so they were all Jane's questions.
Thanks, Jane.
We will move on to Karen Hawkins Kelly, who said, I've really enjoyed your vlogs. Thank you. And just wondering what yourself and Michael do for a living, and do you prefer flying with Virgin or British Airways?
I'll allow you to answer. You've got the only relevant job out of either of us. So
the relevant job. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is for Lindsay's job, she feeds starving people, and for my job, I sit around in my underpants watching sport on TV. So that's what I mean by she's got the only relevant job. I'm a sports journalist. So like I say, I kind of work for a website website network which has probably 13 or 14 sports sites attached to it. So I kind of get quite a lot of variation. Whereas Lindsay literally feeds starving people.
I work for a charity that helps to tackle food poverty and food waste, basically. That's what I do.
Irrelevant.
We both work from home. we both I have to go various to do kind of visits and things like that, but we both work from home. That's what we do. And do we prefer flying with Virgin or British Airways? We've never actually done British Airways long haul.
No, British Airways, the impression that we've always had from them is that they look after the first class passengers and their gold level ones extremely well, and the rest not so much. That's the impression that we've had from a lot of people. It doesn't help also when we have to use British Airways to get from Newcastle to London regardless. So we do use them. Long haul, you know, we keep on getting emails from them saying, we're sorry that we're so shit. So it doesn't exactly make us want to, you know, say, oh, okay, you're sorry that you're shit. Here's a couple £1,000. Please fly us to like Vegas for 11 hours. But we do like Virgin, I would say.
We love flying with Virgin. We've never had one issue with Virgin other than when we got back last week. Our luggage took 2.5 hours between us landing and getting our luggage, and it was 2 hours sat on in a dark and dingy kind of conveyor belt baggage area with no working vending machines, and very little communication coming over about what was happening. And there was just, obviously everybody was getting agitated, everybody had just got off a big long flight, and it wasn't a pleasant experience, and that's the only time we've had that. We understand it's not necessarily a Virgin issue, it's more of a Heathrow issue, but obviously we fly Virgin get our money. We have brought it up to Virgin's attention, and they have said they're going to give us a call about it, so we'll see what comes of that. But in terms of the actual flight experience, we've always loved flying Virgin. Before that, we flew with, was it Thomas Cook?
Thomas Cook, yeah.
Thomas Cook when we went to Vegas the first couple of times, and then they went bust, so that went.
We tried not to take that personally.
Yeah. So we've not done British Airways long haul. We are open to it. I think it's just because we've heard so many bad reports about it that we're unsure. But we've got to the point now, because of the prices, that we are actually looking at other providers and going different routes. You know, we've potentially looked at a route through Amsterdam, a route through Dublin, because of where we are. It's the same amount of distance to us to go to Amsterdam than it is to go to London or to go to Dublin, because we're in the north of England, we can kind of go from a few places, and the flights are so much cheaper from somewhere like Amsterdam than it is from London. So I suppose we're just keeping our options open at the minute. Okay, so Mary Pollard Reid, thank you for your question. More information about the green limo. So I booked that through, I have just put it on our Facebook page, I booked that through it's Alex VIP and Limousine Chauffeur, I think that's what he's called. But if you have a look on our Facebook page, I have put a link to him. Now, I didn't specifically book the Hulk limo, although if I'd known about it, I would have, because Michael's a massive Marvel fan. So if I'd even known it was a possibility, I would have booked that. So I can't even take the credit for it. I did, however, ask for the Hummer limo because I wanted something that was kind of flashy, something completely like that would take his breath away, that he wouldn't be expecting. And then it was only actually when we walked out that I said, I hadn't told Michael anything about it, like not a thing. And usually I'd drop hints, so I'd do something and he guesses. So I pretended up until literally the minute we saw it that we were just getting a taxi, to the point of where we walked out. I said to him, look, I've got a schedule. I want us to leave at this time because we've got the Foodie Tour. So he kind of didn't ring any bells with me, just thought I was being my usual kind of bossy, organised self.
Anal is the word, yeah.
So I was like, right, come on, we've got to go. Got them all ready and prepared. And then we walked out and he went straight into the queue for the taxi rank. And I went, actually, I think I've arranged some transport. But I was like looking around thinking, where on earth is it? Like, I can't see it in front. And then my eyes just went on the right and I just saw this massive green thing. And I said to Michael, I've arranged some transport and I think that might be it. And he was just like, what? And then obviously you saw the rest. I kind of captured it from then onwards on the vlog. So It was a lovely experience. It was an amazing experience. I contacted 2 different people before I went just to find out the price, and this one was a much better price. But like I say, contact Alex yourself to get the different deals. But it was lovely, wasn't it? It was something we've never done anything like that before. And to be honest, we have thought about previously. Well, I've thought about, do we do something from the airport? But I always think when we get to the airport, we're knackered. We've usually done about an 18-hour journey at that point when you add in the transfer to London and then out. And all we want to do is just get into our hotel, drop our bags off and go and experience. We don't really think about that journey. That taxi journey to us is just more like it's a necessity just to get us there. We don't really think about it. So I've never even looked into it. It was only when it was his birthday and I knew we had to go from the Strip to downtown. I was thinking, oh, this is something I could do. Highly recommend it. Driver was fab. Took us obviously to the Sign, which we hadn't been for years.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah. Had a bottle of champagne. Gave us an iPad where we could put our music on. I did put on the vlog. I wondered if anyone could guess the music from our lip reading because we had a proper 90s dance fest in there, didn't we? We were singing the songs and it was brilliant. The Venga Boys got played a lot, put it that way. I was putting on Michael's favourites.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we had a great time. Highly recommend it for a treat or a special occasion or something like that. It was fab. Also, what rewards besides the buy one get one free do you use from My Vegas? What did we use this time?
The buffets we used.
Yeah, but
we used free play a lot.
Yeah. So this was a thing. That was another question which we'll come to at some point, but we might as well answer it now. We on the My Vegas app, the free play, the only ones that they offer on there are where you have to have a hotel stay.
And a non-comped one.
Yeah, it's complicated. So it's a premium reward if you use it on that. You have to have had a minimum 2 or 3 night stay. It has to be with no comps or no offers. So to be honest, they're just out for us because we're not going to, for the sake of getting a $25 free play, we're not going to pay for the room. So, but if you go on to the Konami app, there is at Luxor and Mandalay, they offer a $25 Konami free play and there's no restrictions on that. It's just, it's a premium reward, so you're limited to how much you can get, but there's no restrictions in terms of hotel stays or anything like that. So we did get the free play we both got the free play on Konami and Luxor, and also it does say on them that you have to play them on the Konami machines, but you don't.
Yeah, don't listen to that.
Yeah, we did the first time, we were good as gold, but in Luxor there was only 3 Konami machines in a circle. They said, oh, you've got to play one of them 3 machines. So we waited because they were taken, and then we realised that actually you don't have to, you can stick it in anything, a Dragon Link or whatever else. I can't think of what other rewards we used.
There were a couple of comp drinks at Mirage. Yeah. It's I forget the name of the place.
There was the Still.
The Still, that's it. But
drinks.
We ended up not using them.
Yeah.
And if you don't use a reward, by the way, you can claim a refund on the points. You can just cancel it.
And it's immediate. You just go on. If you think you're not going to get a chance to use it, you can just immediately go into it, cancel it, and the points go straight back on. So we didn't realise that the first time and we lost some. And then again, it's just, you just learn and you build up the experiences. But yeah, I would recommend that. What are your favourite restaurants? What are your favourite restaurants?
Well, Oscars is right up there.
Yeah.
Love Oscars. We've been there twice now. One for Thanksgiving, one for just a kind of standard menu meal. Superb both times, absolutely superb. The view as well, the service is just a lovely dining experience. I got
the table seat,
Just be careful that you do actually have a table because, as we all learned, there are apparently some without tables.
I don't know what. The thing is, though, I mean, when I watched it back, I just giggled and giggled and giggled and thought, what the hell was I on about? But he listened to me and he never stopped me either.
I think the mistake that you're making there is assuming that I listen to you. I'm kind of present physically when you're talking.
Honestly, it was just when I was like, not only did we get a table seat, but we got the table seat. They're all table seats. They're all seats with a table.
I just thought it's going to be really awkward now because she's going to realise that I don't listen to a word that she says.
Obviously, what I was meaning was a window seat. So I wanted
window table.
No, I wanted a window seat, but then afterwards you were saying, well, no, that's more like an aeroplane, and you've got it mixed up, so it's like a window table. But you knew what I meant. Hopefully, you all knew what I meant, and not just a table seat. All of the seats in Oscars have a table. Just want to clarify that.
Yes, absolutely. It's important to clarify. Well, we love Prime as well at the Bellagio. It's a little bit pricey, but the view is amazing.
Yeah, we do want to try some of the others around the fountain. Actually, we've just never got. There's just so much to do.
Lemongrass at the Aria is really good. Really good.
That's one of our favourites. Yeah, I would say restaurants. Now we do actually quite like Sugar Factory for a bit of a novelty, but we haven't been there for quite a while.
It's been 3 years since we've been there.
Cheesecake Factory we've done a couple of times. That is quite nice for I quite like the where you sit in the foreign shops. Trying to think, we're much more of a although we do a few posh dinners, we're much more of a kind of love to go in, have a drink, and just get some like nachos and sliders and have a bit more of a casual.
But for that, by the way, Tom's Urban's really good.
Yeah, the nachos in Tom's Urban. Binions were very good.
Yard House was really good for that kind of, simple foods. I mean, I think it's different if you're a real foodie looking for a great meal. I mean, the most spectacular meal that we've ever had in Vegas was at Le Cirque. Yeah. Which we didn't really pay for, so but that's very much high end.
But also we really enjoyed. I mean, I'll go into the Foodie Tour because some people have asked us for details, but we really enjoyed the first one on the Foodie Tour, Carson Kitchen, and we actually said we would go back there next time we're downtown because it was just so different. The food, it was just something that we would never have tried normally, and it was really, really nice. But I think I'm going to do something else on the Foodie Tour anyway, just to kind of. Because we just didn't get a chance really. We were drinking all day. We'd had the champagne, we'd had the Mon Ami Gabby breakfast. Actually, that was a nice place to eat as well.
But everybody knows that.
Yeah. And then we'd had these cocktails in each one, so the vlog was kind of getting a bit more out of control the more on the Foodie Tour we got because of all the drink and the and the fun we were having. But yeah, there's a few places definitely. You can't go wrong, really, can you? I can't think of a bad meal we've had in Vegas. Can you?
No, I really can't.
A one where I've kind of come away thinking that was horrendous. I literally can't think of one. Last question from Mary was: do you walk everywhere or take Uber or taxi?
We used to walk everywhere.
We still walked a fair bit this time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that now we're more open to just jumping in a taxi or Uber or whatever. And mainly for me, it's because it's almost an investment in the next day. Because if you wake up and your feet are killing or whatever, you almost lose something from the kind of next day. So I would say now we're much more open to just jumping in a car and kind of going where we need to.
And they're really reasonable. We generally take taxis just because we're not particularly organised in terms of timings and we don't like to be set of a time. So generally we like to just be able to, if we're coming down from the room and we fancy sticking a 20 in this machine, or we fancy getting a drink, or we'll jump here first or whatever. We just like to walk out and have a cab there ready, waiting, rather than we've booked an Uber and now we've got to go and stand somewhere and wait for it. So we're generally, and to be fair, the prices are really reasonable. We also use taxis a bit more this time because we were at the Mirage, and we know that we like a lot of the properties up at the south, whereas previously when we've been at Cosmo, we've been so much more central that it hasn't been too much to walk to New York, or to walk to Harrah's or Bellagio or Flamingo or anything like that, where you kind of felt like, we're halfway there and we're halfway there, whereas when we're very much set in the Mirage, we kind of thought, you know what, it's easier just to taxi at Mandalay or taxi, and then we'll just walk our way back.
I mean, Uber's great. We don't really use Uber that much, but I know that a lot of people love it, and fair enough. But what I would say is that I think that taxis can get a bad, almost reputation now in Vegas, and I think that's unfair because taxis were there before Uber were they've always been good. I think that you might pay a couple extra for it, but it's not really prohibitive on anything, you know.
No.
So we're kind of all for that.
Yeah, and we did use them more this time than ever, but we never had an issue. And
No.
and you're talking about maybe $12 or something, including a tip, to get from one end to the other. And it's like Michael said, half the time it's just to save your feet.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Stuart Pritchard, firstly, well done on the great series. You both came over very down to earth. Thank you. What percentage of your day do you put into gambling on the slots? Is it the main reason you go?
Okay, it depends on how much you're winning. Because if you're winning, we could happily sit there and play all day. But if we're losing, sometimes you just have to say, right, we're going to go and do something else for a bit, just to kind of stem the kind of bleeding, I guess.
Yeah. I would say we never wake up with a purely, we're only gambling today. We always kind of have a plan in mind that we're going to go to a restaurant, or we're going to go to, see the flamingos or the conservatory, or we're going to go and, watch this, or we're going to go and do that. Just to break it up, and then we don't really plan in what time that's happening. We just kind of plan it around the gambling a bit.
Yeah, I would say that gambling for us is an aid to the Las Vegas experience. It's part of it, but it's not it. There's
like I say, we did 2 full Vegas trips without even sticking $1 in a slot, so it's not, it doesn't, we don't have to do it, but we do. I mean, we gamble every day.
Yeah.
But some days, it'll get to the night and we go, actually, we've not spent any of our budget today, or we put 50 in this morning and we've not had a chance.
Or we've got nothing gambling related for the vlog. We'd better play something.
Sometimes we're like, actually, we've got nothing to put in because we've just been chatting and having a good time today. So, I would. It's not the reason we go by any means. It's just part of one of the fun as well. Yeah.
I mean, like Lindsay said, we fell in love with Vegas, head over heels before we'd even stuck anything in a machine. So it's certainly not required.
And also, just to back that up, we also never gamble at home. We don't do a casino here at all.
Hey, says the person who's just won £47 on at Cheltenham.
I'll put an 80 to 1 bet on. I have a Bet Victor account that I probably put about £30 in a year and just mess about with it. Sometimes football, sometimes racing. I just have a bit of fun every so often. And I saw Cheltenham was up, and I always bet the ridiculous ones, though, don't I? Anything that's like 80 to 1 or over, 100 to 1, 200 to 1, I bet on. But I put them on each way and just see. Anyway, my 80 to 1 came in the other day, and it was £47 or something I won. Woohoo! Anyway, but we don't go to casinos. So I think I'm just trying to get across the fact that actually we're not big gamblers generally.
No.
And we go watch the football every week, and we never put a bet on. It's just
even though it's literally part of my job to write sports betting tips.
So we're not big gamblers, and we just see it as part of the kind of Vegas experience. Stuart also asked, if you had to change one thing about current Vegas, what would it be? I know what this is going to be for you.
Well, for me, it's the weed smell. I think we noticed it less this time than we did any other time, or the last 2 times anyway. But for me, it's just needless. It's, I understand why they brought it in to kind of bring in some income for the kind of city and what have you through taxes, but not for me. It's just a bad smell in a good place as far as I'm concerned.
I don't feel as strongly about it. The only time actually I did was the last time at Cosmo, because we would sit on our balcony and the guy beside us would smoke it, and so you kind of felt like, oh, hang on a minute, I'm like 20 odd floors up, I'm sat on a balcony, and I want a bit of fresh air. I didn't want the weed smell up there. That was kind of used to bother us because it felt like it was like in our room really. But it's one of those things that when I'm walking along, if you get a big waft of it, if somebody walking past you or something like that, or you get I'm like a bit, ooh, and then, 10 seconds later I've forgotten about it. So it doesn't affect me massively, but I don't particularly like it, but it doesn't alter my opinion.
It would be nice to be able to walk down the strip as well and not be, not have stripper cards slapped in your face as well. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah. You kind of feel like you have to do the dodge, don't you? You have to dodge around them. I actually got spanked this time for the first time by a showgirl. Now that's usually Michael's thing. Usually Michael can't.
I just want to clarify, right? It's not my thing. Right? It's not something that I go looking for. It's something that happens to me. That's what she means.
She did it. It was with one of those cat o' nine tails, and it really hurt.
Well, you deserved it.
And it's usually on Fremont as well, but it wasn't. This was on the strip outside Flamingo. Anyway, thank you for the question, Stuart. Right, Donna. So glad to have found your vlog. Blah 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 blah.
I don't think that.
Sorry.
I don't think that conveys respect
for
the question.
It does. Sorry, I'm just trying to read through it quickly. We love the foodie tour. We'd like more info on that. So yeah, the foodie tour was just something, we were looking for something different for Michael's birthday. Obviously, previous ones we have been for Michael's birthday. We've done things like the hockey, we did the big scavenger hunt, and we've done the big posh meals. And I just wanted something a bit different. So you were just completely like, I'm leaving it to you. You were like, surprise me. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do that we haven't done before, or that we know we're going to enjoy? And then I just saw this foodie tour. To be fair, I didn't even know really much about them. The one I booked was the finger licking foodie tour downtown, which was self-walking or whatever it's called. But there are some where you can do them on the strip. There's actually some within the hotels themselves. So I noticed there was one within Aria where you visit like 4 places or 3 or 4 places within Aria or 3 or 4 places within Cosmo. So you can do them. I went on literally I kind of Googled it, looking for ideas, found something, looked around for the prices, ended up on their own website, the Finger Licking Foodie Tour website. And just thought, because we knew we were going to go downtown that day, and we just thought it was something really unique and really different. So there are different ones you can get. I paid extra for the drinks package because that doesn't come as part of the package. But when I looked afterwards, there was a My Vegas rewards, which was buy one, get one free on the drinks package. So I was a little bit gutted that I'd missed out on that. So if you're going to do it, make sure you get that deal that I missed out on. But we would highly recommend that. Definitely. It was such a fun day, and just seeing different parts that we wouldn't have normally gone to, trying different foods, and just meeting different people, because, you know, these are just, you tend to get your favourites, and you return to your favourites over and over again. But this forced us out of that, and we loved it. Mm-hmm. So definitely recommend that. So they've all asked about the Konami free play, so hopefully we've explained that it's actually on the Konami app and not on the My Vegas app. I must say that your humour and fun of our friends over the pond are the best. That was nice. Your humour, your sayings, your love for Vegas is absolutely the best hype show for the city. Oh, can't wait for your next trip. Thanks, Donna, for that. Dave Mellor, this is a technical question. What do you use to record your vlogs on? And I couldn't get good Wi-Fi. We literally use a Samsung phone.
It's a Samsung S10. So it's a few years old now. We started off the kind of the first series, I think, that we did was we were just filming it on our own phones, our own I think it was iPhone 7s back then, and the picture quality was okay, but the sound was awful. So we kind of switched over for this series 2, which was the November. I think that was the first time that we used the Samsung. Noticed a big difference then. So it just kind of works for us well.
And it just means that we don't have all the fancy camera equipment. We have what's called a gimbal, which is what we're kind of using now, which is just, it's like a selfie stick really. It's like a little thing that you hold, and it just steadies the camera, but it steadies the phone. But we just clip the phone in. We use that if we're walking around, and if not, we just literally hold the phone. We don't have any of the fancy lighting or the little cameras or any of that stuff.
And then we can just use the phone at the end of the day. We've got a Power Director app on the phone, so we just use that to make the vlog, where the videos are already there. So.
Somebody asking about the foodie tour, so hopefully we've covered that. All right, well, that was from Charlie.
There was a Wi-Fi element to the
last couldn't question. Get a good Wi-Fi,
yeah, that can be an issue. That's kind of hurt us before. It obviously varies from property to property, and It varies about where you are sometimes in it. I think higher floors up sometimes struggle a little bit more. It's basically very hit and miss, but that's just the way that things are, you know.
We found in the Mirage there was one bed that had better Wi-Fi than the other.
There was, yeah. Uh-huh.
So if you were using the Wi-Fi, you just had to go on my bed, and if you weren't, you went over to yours. Okay, Charlene's asked about the foodie tour, so hopefully I've answered that, Charlene Dixon, but thanks for the question. Okay, Matt Bridger. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Staying downtown for the first time, what was the best and worst thing about it, and what surprised you the most? Would you stay downtown again, or do you feel you missed the strip too much?
I'll let you go for this one before.
We've never stayed downtown before, as Matt said. It's our first time. We've always been very much strip, and we. That sounds rude.
It does.
I don't mean that to sound rude.
I haven't always been strip. It's strictly a kind of a Friday night thing for me.
But no, we've always been. Well, I've always been.
We've always visited downtown.
Oh,
every single trip.
Yeah, and we've always made it more than a one night downtown as well. We've always made maybe 2 nights, but we've split it out over the trip. So we've done one near the start of the holiday and one near the end, because we do love downtown in terms of like the atmosphere, just the feel of the place, the vibe of the place. But we've never stayed downtown, and I actually was a little bit. I was excited. I was excited to do it, but I was still a little bit apprehensive. I was a bit like, well, will I still like it as much if I'm seeing it more like the nuts and bolts of it, if I'm seeing more like the daytime and the kind of, you know, not rather than just the party kind of downtown. And I wondered if there would be enough to do, to be honest, because I thought if we have a bad gambling morning and blow our budget, well then kind of I felt like, well, will we be stuck downtown with a little bit like what we're going to do? But it just did not work out like that at all.
Then we go to the try not to touchies.
Try not to touchies, yeah, which we had to do actually.
Which we did, yeah.
Downtown, but it was better than I ever thought. It was. I absolutely loved it. Just to get that different side of Vegas was great, and it's like a completely different. I don't know. I think on the strip, it kind of feels like you're kind of buzzing all the time, and actually, although downtown's crazy party on a night, it's quite chilled through the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say that that downtown is much more raw in terms of, you know, Vegas. Obviously, the strip has all the kind of the glam, I think, but you know, downtown's a much more raw Vegas experience, which worked for us. I mean, it always has. It always has. I would say that what surprised me about was that we actually won there this time. But I guess looking back, if you know, we were almost forced this time to keep on betting downtown, whereas in the past we've only been there for a night and we knew we were going back to the strip afterwards. So it was almost a case of like, well, I can recoil a little bit if I'm losing and then just blame it on stupid downtown, you know. Whereas this time we, you know, I mean, as you likely saw, we had some kind of bad runs and some good runs, but ultimately we actually won quite a bit like downtown. The only thing I would say that I don't like about downtown, and it's going to sound like one of these ridiculous job interviews where, you know, you say what's the worst things about you, and you say, I work too hard, you know, like that kind of thing. But there's actually too many really nice, really cool casinos in such a small amount of a small area of space to actually visit enough of them. You know, I mean, obviously we were kind of winning in the downtown Grand and the Plaza. We had some good runs at, and you wanted to go to all of these other places, but you felt, well, I can't really because we're doing quite well here and we don't have time. And so that's the only thing. I wish that I could see more of it when I'm there. It's almost all on top of you.
They almost all run into each other as well when you're walking along Fremont. Like the kind of the D, Four Queens, Golden Gate, Golden Nugget, they kind of all like run into each other, and you almost don't. You're like, hang on, which one's this? I think we've never got to Fremont Street Casino because we always go Binions, and then we tend to go more like we go over the other side, and it just, I think they're almost kind of all on top of you, and it's hard then to distinguish sometimes when they're actually there because you don't get the perspective of the further back. And
I sometimes struggle to remember whether I'm in the Golden Nugget or the Golden Gate.
Yeah.
or whether I'm in a Binions or Four Queens. You know, it sounds ridiculous, but it kind of is.
Whereas the strip, you could never do that
No.
because they're so different and so apart and so themed. But I really, really enjoyed it. And actually, we said that we think we might struggle to do Vegas now without a downtown stay because we liked it. It was a different pace. It just was, and I like the fact that we didn't feel like, you know, sometimes when we have gone to Fremont before, we've crammed everything into like 5 hours there, and it's been kind of, whoa, this time it was, we could just take it at a pace. I mean, I walked up to the donut bar, it was like 8:30 in the morning, and it was just nice seeing it. It was very quite sleepy, and and the people down there, we love the people. We always get chatting to some like really nice people, and we just couldn't win at Circa again. We just can't.
No.
It's just, I don't know what's going on there, but we tried.
I do love Circa, by the way. I think it's an amazing vibe, an amazing place. The atmosphere is superb, but for some reason, it doesn't like us as much as we like it.
And the Legacy Club was fab as well. That was great.
I think, you know, we're talking about a trip in September. I think it's likely that we're going to start the trip downtown and then move down to the kind of strip for the kind of second half of the week. So you know, I think that matter answers how much we enjoyed it. Yeah.
Do you always gamble together? What was your favourite meal this trip? We do usually gamble together. I sometimes go down and do an extra little $50 or something in an afternoon. Previously, it's been when Michael's napped.
Yeah, Lindsay's so exhausting to be around that often I just need a little nap.
So I've gone down before and done like a $50 challenge. You might have seen them in previous vlog series that we've done. I'll go down and do 5 machines, $10 in each. But he just wasn't napping enough this year. He just
yeah, I'm sorry.
We kept doing stuff, and then he was like, "Oh, you haven't been." And I was like, "I know, I needed to go down," but I did actually go down twice, I think, and do it.
In Plaza, I think one of them was.
I did one in Plaza. I did do one in the Mirage, but you know what? When you're not talking as much, the music is actually quite overpowering. And
says the little old lady to my left.
No, I love the music. I can sing along, but when you're trying to vlog and you're conscious of copyright, and it can get a little bit when you haven't got like a permanent conversation going. And I don't like just talking and talking and talking, believe it or not. So I did go down a couple of times, and actually I was on Scarab Game one afternoon while Michael was upstairs napping for 45 minutes on Scarab Game with about $80, and I just sat there and it just kept winning and kept going back and winning, and I think I got up to like 200 odd at some point, and then I just thought, I'm just going to keep playing because I'm having fun. Of course I ended up losing the $80, I ended up losing it all, but then Michael came down and I was like, oh, we'll play the Scarab Game, and then we went on it and it just lost, so
who was blamed for that one?
He was the bad one. I'd sat there lovely for 45 minutes and it was paying out, but anyway, it wasn't with you. So we generally do gamble together, apart from if I do, I only take a $50 down because it's not fair. I'm taking it from the budget or from the try not to touchies.
But never from the do not touchies.
Now, what was your favourite meal this trip? We both loved Oscars, I'm going to say, but actually our favourite meal differed. And mine was, I think it was just because it was a surprise, when we went into Rira's Irish Bar. We went there after the Country Music Awards. And I got the Dubliner burger, and the barman who's from Dublin recommended it, and it was lamb, and it had this cheese on top, and it was just tasted like nothing that I've ever tasted before. It was completely unique taste, and the chips were proper chips. They were like crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside, and I loved it. And we just sat on the bar, we were chatting to this bloke who's a sports commentator, and we sat chatting to him for about an hour. He was brilliant company, and I absolutely love my Dubliner burger from Rira's, so I actually think that's my favourite meal this time.
See, for me, and it's going to sound completely boring, and it might prove an ultimately useless tip because Mirage, obviously we don't know what's going to happen to it, but there's a little snacks place called Snacks, or Snack, and the bacon cheeseburger there is actually the best burger that I've ever had in my life. So I would highly recommend that. I mean, that for me was just a different level. I think we had about 3 of them. while we were there, or I did anyway. Really good.
Yeah, they are really, really good. Sorry, that question was from Dawn Duerflin Tomaski. I've probably said that wrong, but thank you, Dawn. Okay, we'll whiz through these now because it's getting on a bit. Adrian Quinn, there's an empty lot on the strip. You can build whatever casino hotel you want. What are you building and what's the theme?
Well, first of all, right, I believe that themes enhance Vegas. I don't think every hotel needs them. But, you know, I kind of look at the likes of kind of Aria and Resorts World as kind of recent ones, which don't have a theme, and, you know, they're fantastic, but I don't think they have a huge amount of soul. If I'm honest, there's nothing that kind of stands out. And when I think about my favourite casinos on the Strip, they all have a theme, all of them. I know that you're slightly different because you love Cosmo.
I do love Cosmo, but not above all else. New York's my favourite looking and my favourite feeling.
So for me, if someone said you can build something in Vegas, it would have a theme, absolutely. Lindsay's mentioned I'm a big superheroes fan, I'm a big science fiction fan, so it's probably something sci-fi. I think would be something quite futuristic and kind of a little bit cheesy like that. I think everything has a historic theme. I'd like something to have a kind of a more futuristic theme.
Yeah. I think I'm more movies. So I know there is Planet Hollywood, but I don't feel like it's Hollywood enough. I think I'd love more kind of proper movies where you'd feel like you're almost on movie sets.
That's yeah, but the Strip itself feels like
it does
on a movie set.
It does, but can you imagine like this big King Kong thing and a big Jaws thing and a big... I just like movies, but anyway, that would be mine. Okay, Steve KV, have you ever considered staying off Strip for a couple of nights at like Red Rock and all of them types of things, Green Valley, or do you just like the buzz of the Strip, or do you tend to use M Life due to comp rooms?
I have some interest in exploring off Strip a little bit more than we do. I don't really have any interest in staying off Strip unless it's like downtown. I think that we go such a long way, and we go such a long way for Vegas. You know, it's not, you know, Vegas and surrounding area as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm kind of curious about these kind of places. But with all the best will in the world, I might leave the Strip and find the best casino in the world, and yet it's still not going to be sufficiently different to the casinos on the Strip and on downtown to kind of pull me away from it for that amount of time. Yeah,
I'm the same. I think if we travel that far to Vegas, we want to do Vegas and we want to be right in the centre of it. And like I say, we're not particularly big gamblers generally, so I think to go somewhere else just to gamble at another place that would feel like we were anywhere else in the world wouldn't feel like Vegas to us. So I think, but that's not to say, you know, when we've done our 20th, 30th, 40th trip, that we might be going, you know what, let's try and... I think at the minute, we still come back with a massive list of things that we haven't done on the Strip that we want to do, that until we feel like we've exhausted all of them types of things, or if we feel like we have the need to kind of go further, we will. We're not against it. I think we just don't have that urge yet.
Not yet.
We're not kind of you know, tired enough of what's going on with the Strip, or we don't feel like we've seen everything that has to offer. Nicola Wallace, this is quite interesting. Thanks for the question. Do you both ever argue or disagree over when it's time to leave a machine, or that enough money has been put in or lost? Or do you both have a set machine budget beforehand? I'm wondering if this is from experience, Nicola, that you're asking.
I feel like the words dancing drums are you know, hurtling towards this conversation at breakneck speeds.
We do sometimes disagree, I think, over, you know, like... But I can't remember us ever having an argument.
We've never had an argument about it.
We've never had an argument about it. Sometimes I'll say, we'll just stick another 20 in this, or we'll just stick another 40 in this and see. We do sometimes... So this was apparent, I think, on the very last vlog last time, when, you know, obviously we hit that massive big major at the Bellagio on Dragon Link. And Michael's instinct, which is usually my instinct, is to take the money and run. Is to kind of like, you know what, this is a completely unexpected win, let's go. But I was a bit like, you know what, we've only got half an hour of the holiday left, and when do we ever get this chance to kind of just do a few high rolls? And you
were completely right on it.
Yeah, and not affect our bankroll, because it was all profit anyway. It was all kind of like, you know, so... that was one where Michael was like, right, and we did pull the money out. You got the money, and then we kind of... Actually, did we? No, we might not have done.
No, that was the one where we left it in.
That was it. So I said... So I think we had 700. Yeah, we had 700 odd, and I said, right, let's just play it down to 600. I said, we're not.
You said 500.
Was it 500?
It was 500.
I said we're not. But either way, we were going to have made a massive
unexpected
profit.
One as well.
So I said, let's just play it down to 500. I said, we've got like 16 $10 bets or something that we can just play. And I said, let's just do it. Of course, we did it, and then we hit the massive amount, the 1,000 and odd. So then that left us with 1,700, and Michael was like, right, that's it, we're going now. And I was going, but we've still got 20 minutes left. And it's really hot, this machine. And how often do you get the chance where you know you're in a really hot machine and you're already in massive profit just to go a few extra spins? So I think this was probably the only example where I was kind of saying, and I said to him, look, we will not leave this machine at less than 1,500, because that is an unbelievable amount. And then when we kept, so he was like, time, and you know, and
it's so, just, she says it's the only example because she wants to forget about the examples of when she's been willing to stay on the machine and it's lost.
No, I don't.
And again, dancing drums with, you know, over the years with Lindsay loves it. I don't so much love it, and
but I've never gone like right, I'm going to stick 300 in this.
We've never lost hundreds on it.
Oh, no, never.
Sometimes it has to be pulled away.
It's like an extra 20 or something like that. I'm like, we'll give it an extra 20. Yes, 20. It is.
Okay, it possibly is. We'll just give it an extra 20, but it's like she says that like 16 times.
No,
so you know.
No, we don't actually. We generally agree. We generally agree on when, and if we do have a win, we'll tend to say, so say it's 460 or something. We'll say, let's just take it out at 400 and pull it out, and then we've agreed that, and so there's never actually been an argument over it.
We don't really argue in general, to be honest with you.
Eric Jones, when with you flying direct, what happens to your luggage? Do you have to pick up your luggage in Heathrow? Does it go direct? Again, just very quickly, because we do British Airways and Virgin, or we have to do the whole get your luggage out, go back to the security and go back in again, which is a bit of a faff on one hand, but on another hand, we've got quite a bit of time usually in between the flights, and you don't mind so much. It's very simple on the little transporter. If
we flew British Airways all the way there, though, our luggage would just follow us.
Yeah.
Which is a reason to do it. Obviously, the executive club and all that is also a reason to do it. But the fact that British Airways themselves keep on emailing us, apologising for being shite, is a big reason to not do it. So we'll see what the kind of future holds with that.
Yeah. So Johnny Vegas also asked about our daily...
Is it the real Johnny Vegas?
No.
I hope it is.
Asked about our daily budget, so we've already covered that. Lorraine Schweinfuss Miller says, excellent vlogs, can't wait for the Q&A, love your humour. She's asked what our day jobs are, we've already answered that. Mm-hmm. Which band, this is from Hull Caliph, which band would you like to see in Vegas, not counting the Country Music Awards again, which you loved so much? Yeah. Now, we were so chuffed when Bryan Adams came last time, because that's somebody that we both love and we've both seen a few times. The other band that we both love and we both seen a few times separately would be Bon Jovi. Yeah,
would love to see them in Vegas.
And the other band that I would love to see in Vegas, which I always keep missing, I can never get the time. I should coordinate with them better, really, is Aerosmith.
Yeah, I'd love to see them.
Absolutely love Aerosmith. We're very much kind of a soft rock type of people. We would have loved to have seen the Killers, actually, but...
Billy Joel, I think, is one that I would love to see there.
Yeah, we would do that. Now, I'm a big Bazza fan, a big Barry Manilow fan, and I would go and see him, but I haven't felt the need... I felt too bad to drag Michael along because he's not a Bazza fan at all. So if the prices were cheap, I would probably go and see.
Well, it's fun. I'm not opposed to him. It's not like someone that I don't like. Someone that, to be honest, has never really had any impact on my life in terms of I can't, I think I know Mandy and that's about it. So
you know more than that.
Well, I don't think I do.
You do.
I don't even know more than a single Adele song. So
I don't know. Okay, just the last couple from Twitter, to be honest. How do we even cover this? Dave McGee, tip for first-time visitors around deals, comps, rewards, etc.
Hiya Dave, by the way. He's a friend. It's very hard. I think the biggest tip that I've got for Vegas is that I think at the start, when you first go, it feels very big and expensive. But every time you go, they make it easier and cheaper for you to come back. So we're kind of at the point now where, because of the rewards cards and things that we've like mentioned, and the kind of tiers that you build up, and the kind of history that you build up with like MGM rewards and Caesars, that it's actually cost us a little bit less now to come to Vegas for, a week or 10 days than it would to go to Spain, which is crazy when you think about it. It's absolutely like, it shouldn't, but it does. So the biggest tip I would have would be just would play the Vegas game. If you want to go to Vegas and you want to keep going, just play that kind of game. The casinos have rules in terms of, if you gamble here, if you spend your kind of money here, which, to be honest, on holiday you would be spending somewhere anyway. Just play their game and they'll keep on bringing you back again and again. I actually think that by the time you get onto your third or fourth trip, Vegas has become the best value holiday that you could really have. It's amazing value.
In terms of the hotel stay and the restaurants and the comps and stuff you can get, obviously the gambling is completely separate on top of that. And if you don't have a budget and you don't win, then you have to be prepared to lose that. And it's only our last 2 times that we've come back with any money. To be perfectly honest, before that we just took it. We didn't gamble that much, in all fairness, either, but we took that money as, this is our spender money for our holiday. Like you would go on any holiday, take your spender money, and you wouldn't expect to ever come back with any of that spender money. That's what it's there for. That's how we used to always view it. It's only the last 2 times that we've come back. I think last time we came back with about 40% of our spends, and this time we've come back with nearly 100% of the spender money we took.
About 95, 96%.
Which but you would not get that any other holiday that you ever went to. Your spender money is your spender money. So it's worked out like that, but you obviously have to have that money to spend and to happily lose as just part of the experience of being there, But in terms of, I think even if you're just going to go the once and you don't know if you're going to go back again, get the players cards, because you don't know what offers are going to lead to. And if you do end up winning big, they've got, they kind of give you more rewards and all of that type of stuff. It's worth just doing to start the process off, even if you never go back again. I think we wish that we'd got the cards from the very first trip that we went, and we didn't.
Absolutely.
So I would say that. Last 2 questions. In your experiences, from Celtic Girls on Twitter, in your experience, is it better to put in $20 in a machine and play from that, or something higher like 100?
You know what? If I had the answers to these kind of questions, questions about what I do for a living would be completely obsolete. Ultimately, I believe that there's no tricks to it. There's no tactics. There's no skill. I think that you sit down, you put your money in, regardless of how much it is. You push a button and you hope for some luck, and you do that over and over again.
But I mean, the question's valid, because this is why we've played about with it this time, because I think
that experience counts for a lot. I don't think that people necessarily get improve how they actually play. But I think that experience counts for a lot. It's always going to be sitting down, push a button and hope. But I think that we found that the more experience that we've got in terms of playing around with the bet level, kind of getting a sense of when a machine is kind of willing to play and when it's not willing to play, when it's stopped playing. I think all of these things help. But you know, I just believe that you put in your money, you push a button, and you hope for some luck, and that's it.
I mean, I know a lot of people who will just put $20 in a machine. If it doesn't pay out, they just walk to the next machine and put another 20 in. And, you know, they have just as much chance of hitting a massive jackpot as us who've maybe put in 100 or 200, because it's random number generator. So at any point that can go, doesn't matter what you've put in. But saying that, I do mess about. I do. If I feel like I'm not getting anything on, you know, a 1 cent denom, I'll change it to a 2 cent denom. Feel like if it wants to play, I'll switch it to a 5 cent denom. Or we actually, when we've looked back, the majority of our bets this time have come on a 5 cent denom. The majority of our wins, have come on a 5 cent denom, regardless of the bet. Whereas previously we would always just keep it on a 1 cent denom and just change the bet level. We would never even change the denom.
Because that was scary. At the start, that was scary, that kind of stuff.
So we've moved about with it, but I've done, like I mentioned before, I've done a few of the $50 challenges where I just stick a 10 in the machine, do 10 $1 bets and walk away with whatever I've got. And I've hit so many bonuses doing that, and all I've stuck in is a $10. And fair enough, I'm only doing $1 bets. I might win a $40 bonus or a $30 bonus. I think I've won a $60 once on my, but that was just sticking a tenner in. So honestly, there's no kind of science to it, but I know what you mean, because I fiddle about with it. And I'm like, sometimes I'll stick a 50 in, even though it's meant to be unlucky. Sometimes I'll stick 100, sometimes a 20. Sometimes it's a Tito, but I did read that sometimes the machine doesn't read the Tito as cash coming in. So I don't know. It's a whole science in itself, isn't it? It's a mystery. But I would just say I don't think there's any difference between sticking the 100 or the 20 in. I just think it's whether you're in the right place at the right time.
I think I agree.
Okay, last one then. Steph Bryce from Twitter. If you could stay at any casino, which one would it be, and favourite restaurant?
Well,
that's a hard one.
It is. I think, and it's going to sound ridiculous because we've not actually stayed there. The Bellagio, I think, for me, is the iconic Vegas property. It was the one that before I ever went to Vegas, I associated with it. You know, I thought of the kind of fountains and the kind of look of it, and we're almost saving that one for when we get married there, I think.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be that one.
But also, I don't want to be disappointed by it. So I don't want to go if I'm almost going to be like the lowest room level because of it. Then if I'm disappointed and I don't like it,
I think if it's our wedding, I think I'll treat you.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah.
That's why we've not done it so far when we could have done it. I mean, we are getting offered free comps there, but with resort fees, whereas the other ones are getting comp resort fees now. So, but yeah, I think we're kind of keeping that. For me, everybody knows I love the Cosmo, and I would love to have one of the big wraparound rooms at the Cosmo. That would be a real treat. And I think just anything where you would maybe get a suite or something like really, really with a spectacular view, you know, maybe one of the Bellagio suites or the Cosmos, like I say, the suites, the proper high-end ones would be a wow.
The villas.
Yeah, but yeah, location and view, I can't beat the Cosmo. But like I say, something like a special room there would be amazing. Or the Bellagio. There's no hotels, I think, that we talk about what we fancy and what we don't fancy on the strip, but I don't think there's any that is like a proper like we must stay there or I don't know.
But there also aren't any that is a kind of a hard no. You know, I think that we're quite open to
maybe Luxor.
Like everything. Well, I think Luxor in the Tower. I think that the Tower rooms are really good. It's obviously we had a little look in the Pyramid rooms in November, and it was a little bit ropey, but yeah, I think the actual obviously they built the separate part of the hotel like recently, didn't they? So I think they would be fine. And
the good thing about it is, I mean, we loved the actual Plaza mini suite that we had. Was really nice. I think, you know, previously Michael's called me a room snob.
She's a total room snob.
Because it's not about, I don't need a fancy room. I just need to feel comfortable. I need to feel safe. I need to feel comfortable and I'm in a room. And so Michael did ask me before this trip, am I going to be comfortable in the Mirage? Because obviously we've done Cosmo the last 2 times with a balcony. And I honestly said, I don't know. I said, I want to, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel. But I loved it. I loved it. It didn't matter that I didn't have the balcony. I didn't have to have the balcony. And it didn't matter that the bathroom was smaller, because what do you use the bathroom for? Do you know what I mean? You're in and out. It's not like you're in there for a long period of time. And the room was big and airy and light and comfortable and safe and clean. And what more do you want? So I think there's just so many options on the strip that I don't think you can really go wrong. Although we have heard some horror stories, maybe we've just hit lucky with everyone we ever stayed in.
I think there's a few bad stories coming out about like Aria now, and you know, it's hard for us to comment on what we've not seen and experienced.
Mind when we posted on social our view from the Mirage, which was spectacular, we did get a few replies back from other people with their views, and they were like walls and you know, the kind of backs of places, and so I think we've just maybe hit lucky.
Maybe.
So yeah, I think that's all of the questions that we've had. Apologies if I've missed any, because I just did this a couple of days ago. But we just want to say again, thanks so much for sharing it with us. I am probably going to do a couple of videos based on some of the days you've already seen. So I'll probably do the Finger Licking Foodie Tour vlog. We might just put a separate room tour vlog out of the plaza, just for people who are only interested in them small bits. But watch this space for our next trip, because it will happen this year. And for anybody who is interested in Disney, we are planning on vlogging that, which is in October, with the older kids.
Who are absolutely mortified by the idea of vlogging, by the way. Who,
might or might not be in the vlogs, depending on how embarrassed they are by me, basically. And Michael's kind of agreeing, like, yeah, that's his principle as well. Okay, so again, thank you for all of your support. I think we've now just hit the 1750 subscribers, which is incredible. We're just chuffed to bits with that, and thanks for coming on the journey with us.